We got a special guest with us tonight, Super Duper Kyle, rapper extraordinaire, blurred extraordinaire. Happy to be with us because this is what we do over in these parts. What's going on,
Fashionista?
Kyle?
Don't forget Fashionista now. It's the man.
Fashionista. Trying to get drippy.
Got the classic Casio. Come on, bro.
My man is doing a little bit of everything, and everything is doing well with him. Obviously, the music, fantastic. Loving what you do.
Thank you.
Everybody's in the private already too. This is why I need an upset of hands.
It'd be like Super Chicken. You knew the job was dangerous.
Dangerous man, but geez, yo, I know there's projects you can't speak about. We know that, but we know who they are with, of course. So we can't wait to see what you got coming up soon. But let's talk about you being influenced in your music. Who are your biggest influences, and what in the nerd space influences you?
That's a really good question. So music-wise, come on. Music-wise, I'm influenced by a lot of different things. I come from a pretty multicultural family, so I listened to a lot of different genres growing up. But I would say I really started to find myself around the time of like the Kid Cudis and the Drakes and the Kanyes and that kind of like more music. Not, let's just say me and gangster music don't really do that well together. And I tried, for a really long time. Like growing up, my favorite rapper, this might shock y'all, but my favorite rapper of all time is like Jadakiss, right? So like,
now you die later.
Nah, for real. Like I memorized all, like I love Jadakiss, and I always tried to make music following just the people I was influenced by. And I would release some of that stuff. And I was one of them kids that was trying to be famous when I was like 10, so I got all this music from like 10 till 16 trying to emulate this thing that just, upbringing wise was not the same, Not from Yonkers. I never flip a pack. I don't know how to do that. I don't know where I would start. If I ever got my hands on a pack, I don't even know who I would give it to.
A pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, maybe.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'll flip a pack of that all day. I was nice at Yu-Gi-Oh. But I gave that up too, because I remember one time I played this kid, and this was a hard fought battle, and we had everything on the line. Like we were playing for, what was I gonna take? I was gonna take like a Blue Eyes or something, and he was gonna take some other shit I had.
You
and
just
I
spoke
won.
language.
Oh, man,
sorry.
Call me out like that.
You spoke his language. I'm just saying. You spoke.
No. No, you good. You good.
Yeah, you're in good company. That's what I mean.
I play.
Okay.
So I understand. I play. Even now, I play. So let's go.
Yeah, and then I remember I won, and then I get a knock on the door like 5 minutes later, and it's him and his dad, and he's crying, and I have to give it back. And I was like, man, this sucks, man.
Ain't no way.
No.
Had I known you was gonna mention Yugi, I would have grabbed that clip of him saying, "No, it should have been me."
Yeah. So I mean, but like, yeah, music influence wise, that was my biggest thing, and then I think like kind of sort of my real like home and like of who I am is all based around the things I was into in video games and like Pokemon. I loved Pokemon. I loved Dragon Ball Z. I loved Yu Yu Hakusho. And I feel like how it kind of influenced my music is I realized being a hero was cool, right? Like I realized trying to quote unquote save the day was cool. And then I started getting into artists like Kid Cudi and people like that, who their whole thing was about being this person who was there to help you. And then I remember I was around 16 or 17 when I decided like, nah, my rap name is Super Duper Kyle from now on. And my whole thing is going to be like trying to make music that kind of helps people. I wanted to embody Goku in a rap song. And then I wanted to like also kind of, when I started building my first projects, the soundtrack of them, I wanted it to all be samples of video games and nostalgic stuff that kind of reminded you of just optimism. And I think that's one of the things that I'm so lucky for like diving into just like nerd culture and like all of those things and never being ashamed of that. And you know, you turn 16, 17, that's when you start trying to hide the Pikachu dolls and whatnot. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You don't want anybody, you're trying to be cooler than normal. And instead, I kind of really embraced, no, Kyle, this is what is going to actually make you an individual. And by the way, everybody loves this. They just don't talk about it. You know, they try to rap about things that seem cooler. And the craziest switch happened when I started making songs about, you know, Pokemon or Zelda, right? I started sampling all this Zelda stuff. Do not tell Nintendo. I realized, oh, I have fans now. Like I have people that care and they like me. And yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Yes, we did have the most sick XXL cipher. I will go ahead and state that I might have had the most fire one in the whole thing. So just put that out there. But yeah, I realized, okay, people are starting to actually listen to my songs and like them because they can feel the authenticity. And when you start like kind of really being yourself in art is when people gravitate towards it. So I always tell kids that want to be a rapper or want to like figure out what to do. They always come to me for advice and I'll be like, yo, best piece of advice I can give you is like rap about the things you genuinely like and like only you like, you know? And that's going to make you unique. And in reality, you're going to connect to real people because you're being honest. And yeah, like I wanted to create a world that I feel like doesn't exist in hip hop, which maybe used to back in the day. But since I've been a child, since I've been alive, really, like the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, it's been pretty bleak, dark, aggressive, and cold. Everybody wears black leather, you know? And I wanted to create a world that was like vibrant and colorful and could be a safe place for people to not think about how much they can hurt somebody that looks like them, but rather how, you know, fun and beautiful the world is. So I feel like that is really kind of where I got a lot of inspiration from the things I was into, like video games and, you know, and Pokemon or anime. It's just like these deep stories about trying to be a hero and trying to imagine. It's kind of escapism in a way, you know, like escapism into like a kind and more gentle world. That's action packed for sure. You know, I'm vanquishing the bad guys, but I'm approaching it more from a way of like the things that influenced me as a kid. I always tell people like me and my Xbox are just, that's my best friend in life. Like, you know, like when things were not lit at home, like I would turn on a Nintendo and just escape to a different world. And then I wanted my music to be that same thing that like those games and the cartoons and the stuff I grew up on were, like an escape to a different world, you know? Like forget about the guns, forget about how, you know, you don't got it and he does, and he's just telling you how much he got it, you know? Like try and think about like rainbows and sunshine and shit like that, you know? So I really embraced that and wanted to build not only my look in like the music videos and the sounds and the samples and shit, but really who I am as an artist to these kids, you know. I never looked at Goku and thought, damn, he's gonna take my shorty, even though he probably could. He's never saying that, you know. Like he's never saying that. And then so many of the idols that I had in rap music, that's all they told me is how much more money they had, how they would kill me really easily, and how like they're so much better than me, and they're just gonna take my shorty. And I was like, well, this doesn't help me grow as a person at all. If anything, it makes me feel worse about myself. Until I hopefully just, I don't know, become infinitely paid. I never knew what the end goal was. And yeah, so that I'm really blessed to have not been afraid to just like embrace being a nerd and embrace like things being sweet and gentle and positive and happy and like fun.